I haven't been driving this old car much lately. The reason being is after about 10 minutes, the motor dies and it won't restart again until the motor's cold. It's not very convenient for doing any kind of trips anywhere. So today I'm going to see if I can fix it, hopefully on this old car. This car is actually very low to the ground at the front, so I want to get up on these ramps so I've got a bit of room to wiggle underneath. Now this is a well thought out car. They've paid a lot of attention to all of the little details. The one thing they missed is that you always hit your head on the grille when you got the bonnet up, but they have allowed you to lift the bonnet up further, which makes working on the car a bit easier, but you got to remember to do it or you end up hitting your head. Like I said on the intro, it starts fine, it idles fine, it drives fine, everything's good until about 10 minutes into the journey. The motor will die and it won't want to restart at all. If I come back to the car once it's cooled down, it'll start like nothing was ever a problem and drive home again. But once it gets to that 10-minute mark, it'll start misfiring. So my hunch is it's something heat related. Now there's a range of different things it could be. I've looked on different forums and everyone suggests a lot of different things. But I also ran my symptoms through Chat GPT and I wanted to see what Chat GPT thought about my issue. And Chat GPT came back with a very specific issue and it was very confident that it is the crank position sensor. So that's what we're going to have a look at changing today. I want to see if Chat GPT is correct. Hopefully it is, and we'll have a running car again. What I'll do now is I'll start it up, I'll let it idle for a while, and I'll show you what it's doing when it cuts out once it gets warm. Okay, the motor's conked out. I thought I was filming, but I got a phone call in the middle of it and it froze the camera, unfortunately. So I missed it, missed the footage of it like misfiring and conking out. But it was running for about 10 minutes. It's conked out. Now if I go to start it, you watch, it won't start at all. And that's all it does, it just sits there turning over. Now it's quite frustrating because I'd drive somewhere, 10 minutes into the trip, the engine would just sort of misfire and cut out, and I'd sit there on the side of the road cranking it over and over, trying to get it going. And then I'd come back an hour later and the car would start up fine and I'd just drive home. So it's quite frustrating. Now, ChatGPT has indicated it's that crank angle position sensor. So that's what we're going to change and see if it fixes it. I've also got some spark plug leads and spark plugs and a new distributor cap because why not? They need replacing anyway. So let's get to it, see if we can fix it. These are the parts I've got. So we've got our crank position sensor. That's the sensor part that goes into the back of the bell housing somewhere. I've got to find that yet. And this is the other end, which we've got to find here in the engine bay where it goes in. Haven't discovered that yet either. Here's the leads. So they are Bosch brand, so I thought I'd get some decent ones. Nice black ones to match what's in there. Didn't want any colours. They look a bit tacky. And these are kind of have that really long, whatever you call that, because that's what they need for this engine. And I got 6 plugs, 6 cylinder of course, and then we've got our distributor cap, so we'll get a nice new one of those on there too. Hopefully that helps make it run better. Here we have the Bosch electronic ignition system control stuff. There's 3 big plugs on it. Well, there's 2 big plugs and a smaller one, and the smaller one looks the same as the one that we're going to replace. So, okay, it heads off underneath the air filter. So what I might do is remove the air filter so I can see where it's going and route the new one in the same way as the old one. So I think it's time to slide under the car and see if we can find where the position sensor is. Now, it's on the back of the bell housing, which is up here somewhere. And the instructions say I've got to remove the starter motor, which I can see above me. But I don't have to fully remove it, I just have to take the bolts out and then I can get to the sensor. However, I wonder if I can get to it without that. So we can see where our wire runs now into the depths of all this stuff here. Down here somewhere. Gee, it's a bit of spaghetti. It's turning out to be a very tricky thing to get out. It's very much woven in underneath everything, a bit like spaghetti. And I can't get my hands in there. Too awkward. I've got this on some clips underneath the manifold, which I've broken it off the first clip. And I'll probably have to do the same on the back one too, because I just, without removing the manifold, can't get to it. And there is no way I'm removing the manifold to replace a sensor. Oh, that's that one. Thankfully the old clips are very brittle plastic, and you just touch them and they kind of disintegrate. Right, that's got it loose. Where's the rest of it going to? So I have found the sensor. If we look down the back of the engine, put the light down there, and we look right down into the bowels of the motor here, and yeah, it's that Allen bolt right there. I think is holding the sensor in. So it's a bit hard to see from up here, but I reckon I can get to it with an extension and a wobbly thingy. Trying another technique, I've got this contraption of sorts, and I reckon we can get it in there. Yep, there it is. We can just about turn it from up here. I think it's in. Let's see if we can turn it. Oh yeah, got it. Here's the bolt that came out. Don't lose that. Now, it's just up here somewhere. Oh, where am I? I'm just guessing. Back here a bit more. Ha! Oh, washer. I don't know if you can see it there. I've got it out. So now I'm going to get it out now, which means try and feed it through all of that spaghetti again. Right, let's go back up the top. I've just had a good idea, which I do tend to have from time to time. As I'm pulling the old one out, I might as well pull the new one through with it to save me having to feed it through later. So if I tie these together, I'm tempted to just cut the old one, but I'm a little bit reluctant in case the new one doesn't work. I've got to put it back in. So I'm going to tie these together, and then as I pull this one out, it'll pull the new one through. Snagged already. What have we snagged on? Well, it was a noble effort, but that is just not going to work. It's just too tight through there, and it goes through so many different little corners and everything. I'm not going to be able to pull this big lump of stuff through. I can't even get this end through. Ah, there we go. Tell you what, Chat GPT made it sound a lot easier than it is to get this stupid thing out. Got it. Cool, so you can see the old one. Look at that. It's all sort of, the plastic's all brittle and it's broken away. And you can see the wires in there. It can't be good. I don't know if that's the actual cause of the issue. Let's try and get that new one through. That was the easy bit. Now the hard bit, try and get the new one in. I have finally got the new one in there. It took ages to get it in because it was fractionally fatter. The sensor part was fractionally fatter than the original, which meant it didn't like to go back into the hole. Thankfully the replacement was plastic, so I was able to sort of shave a bit off and finagle it a bit. So I'm just putting the zip ties back on and the last little bits. This is the cap for the, well, it's like the decorative cap for the distributor cap. That's the distributor cap under there. Anyway, let's get the plastic covers off and we'll get these leads out of the way. Just got to be very careful with these bits of plastic because they're getting pretty old now. It does say on the side here which one goes to where. And the reason I wanted to replace these is because you can see they're all starting to crack on the outside there. Great, It's all 6 coming out okay. That one's quite sooty indeed. I just noticed that spark plug it's had the whole guts pulled out when I pulled the cap off, so that's not very good, is it? So, oh look, the inside's all rusty. Yeah, man, these are stuffed, these spark plugs. So well worth replacing. Maybe this was the issue. Maybe, I don't know, but that's not a very happy spark plug. I've got a Bosch replacement, which is a HR8DC. So the Bosch is a much nicer looking plug, much better quality looking plug. So I'm just checking the gaps are right, and they are. And I always just do these up finger tight to start with, just to make sure I'm not threading, cross-threading the hole, because that's the worst thing you could do. Okay, time to tighten them all up. She looks pretty, yeah, pretty worn. There's not much left on here. So here's our new one. Yeah, I don't know, it looks cleaner. So we have to take the distributor cap off this cover. Now it's pretty well stuck on there, but I tapped it quite firmly with a hammer and it's sort of broken its hold on it. Come on, it's really stuck. There we go, yay. Right, so that's the old one. It's weird, like these are kind of, these two are still silver colour and the rest have turned yellow. But the new one, they're all silver. Anyway, let's put it back in to our case. There we go, lovely, done. So I've got to be a bit careful with this case. It's all cracked, just the edge of the plastics, I guess. So I don't want to buy a new one, so I'll just try and be careful with it. I am wondering if I should have bought a new rotor, but I don't have one, so I can always put it in later. Yeah, anyway, that's back on. And that one. Okay, so I think they're all on. Let's start with number 6. That goes down to the bottom one. Coming through there. And lucky last. Okay, they're all back in this housing. That's one of the harder jobs. Yeah, just trying to get them all to fit in and not fall out when you put the next one in. We'll put this cap back on. There we go. Let's see if we can get him on. We're almost ready for a startup and see if we have a working Mercedes. Yep, that's looking good. Right, get that hose on, and that's about it. Might just check under the car in case I've left stuff lying around, which I am prone to do. Right, the air filter box is, well, I better clip it on, is bolted down. I better put the clips on. And I think that's about it, I reckon. I'm going to see if it starts now. Hopefully it does. Hopefully that sensor fixes the issue, or one of the other things we've done might have fixed it. I probably should have just done one thing at a time just to isolate what the issue actually was, but to be honest, I just want it to run again, so not too concerned. I've had the battery on charge the whole time I've been working today because it's been sitting around for a long time, the car, not going. Cool, I think it is time to start the engine. So it started straight up, and I'd expected it to because it was cold, and it's always done that. So I'm going to leave it running for a while like I did before and see if it starts to conk out again. So last time I was doing that, it was choking and coughing a bit. I'm going to leave it running a little bit longer. I'm not convinced yet it's fully fixed. It's been running for a good 10 minutes, maybe even longer. I can feel plenty of heat coming up off the exhaust manifolds. The whole thing's really warm. It's indicating it's at temperature on the temperature gauge, and it's running really smooth and not missing a beat, unlike before. So now when I rev it, it just revs up smoothly, whereas before it would cough, sputter and just conk out and then not start for ages. So I think it's fixed. Now whether it was the spark plug leads or the plugs or the distributor cap or most probably the crank position sensor, hard to know because I swapped everything at the one time, but ultimately I just wanted it to work and it's working. So that's my main goal. So if you've got the same issue, I'll probably start with the crank position sensor, but look, if the leads need changing anyway, just do it, and they certainly did. It was all pretty, all pretty due for a change. So the old girl's going to be a bit happier with this, and we'll continue our journey of making this vehicle some sort of reliable daily driver is the plan.